Everyone says men walked away from God. That's a lie. Men didn't reject God. They rejected the weakness that replaced him. The modern church turned kings into cowards and then wondered why the warriors left. You don't attract men by shaming their strength. You build them by giving it purpose. And now the world's paying the price. Look around you. Depression's rising, families collapsing, young men more lost than ever. We told them masculinity was toxic. We mocked faith as outdated. Then we acted shocked when everything fell apart. You can't destroy the foundation and expect the house to stand. Men do not crave comfort. They crave mission, purpose, brotherhood, a reason to fight for something real. Here's what no one wants to talk about. The system doesn't fear weak men. It fears faithful ones. Because a faithful man can't be controlled. He doesn't bend for approval. He doesn't worship government, fame, or influencers. He worships something higher. And that terrifies a culture built on ego and dopamine. For decades, they told men faith was old-fashioned, that real strength meant being self-made. But self-made men break. Every man eventually hits a wall too heavy for pride to lift. And when he does, he remembers what faith really was. Not religion, but resilience. Not tradition, but truth. Faith doesn't make men soft, it makes them unbreakable. And that's the threat. A man grounded in faith isn't manipulated by fear. He's not swayed by trends. He doesn't crumble when he's criticized. He stands because he knows who he stands for. You know what's really happening? Men are quietly rebelling against comfort culture. They're walking away from fake gurus, shallow self-help, and performative virtue. They're opening their Bibles again. They're leading their homes again. They're realizing that real strength doesn't come from muscles. It comes from moral clarity. Because this world has enough entertainers, enough influencers, enough men who speak loudly but stand for nothing. What it's missing are guardians, men who see chaos coming and choose to stand their post anyway. Faith is rebellion now, and that's exactly what scares them. Because a faithful man won't worship politics. He won't sell his soul for acceptance. And he won't let a system that can even define a man tell him how to be one. The data proves this. Barna research shows a steady rise in Gen Z men returning to faith communities. The Religious News Service reported that, for the first time in decades, more men than women are attending church. They're not chasing comfort, they're chasing clarity. They want discipline, brotherhood, accountability. All the things this culture calls toxic because they can't be monetized. They call it patriarchy, but maybe it was just order. They called it outdated, but maybe it was timeless. If you're a man watching this, you already feel it, that tension inside. You were built for something bigger than the 9-to-5 grind and the endless scroll. You were built to protect, to lead, to create. And somewhere deep down, you know this. You've seen what happens when men go silent, when they're shamed into submission. Communities crumble. Children grow up without direction. Truth gets redefined until it doesn't exist. That's not progress, that's collapse. And the only thing standing between civilization and chaos is a generation of men who decide to remember who they are. You want to fix the world? Start by fixing your heart. Start by finding your code again. Faith, family, freedom. That's the foundation they tried to bury. And it's coming back stronger than ever. Because men are realizing something powerful. If you remove God, the void doesn't stay empty. Something else always fills it. The question is, what have we let fill it? Politics, porn, pride. That's why everything feels hollow. That's why nothing satisfies. So maybe this isn't about religion at all. Maybe it's about remembering that virtue and strength were never enemies. They were brothers. That courage without character is chaos, and faith without strength is surrender. This world doesn't need more men pretending to care. It needs men willing to carry weight, to be dangerous when required, and disciplined when it matters, to raise sons who lead and daughters who know what a real man looks like. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't collapse when evil rises. It collapses when good men do nothing. Comment awake down below if you're done apologizing for strength. Subscribe if you believe faith isn't weakness, it's war. Because the world doesn't need more victims, it needs watchmen.